Hey, what's up, gamers? This is Skelemistic. I am here today in front of the arena doors to talk to you guys about a subject that has been on my mind for quite a long time, and I've kept my mouth shut about it, and I just kind of kept it to myself, and I probably shouldn't have. And I think now it's time to bring that subject to light. And that is how the PvP that we know and love went from the fun time of bashing each other about the head and shoulders to its really rather broken state of today. Now I know all of you at one time or another who have been in this arena have heard someone say, well, this part's broken, or that part's broken, or something is wrong, something or other is wrong. Now admittedly, sometimes it's after they lost and they've just got a little sour grapes going on, but the truth of the matter is, it is broken. And I want to talk to you guys in this video about exactly when it got broken and why I think it got broken and what I think they could do to fix it. Now, some of you are going to disagree with me. That's okay, because that's the nature of discussion. Some of you might think that I'm right. The question is what we can do about it to get it fixed. I'm thinking that maybe if enough of us got together in a voice and said and gave KingsIsle our concerns and we talked about it, maybe we could bring it back to where it was. Now, let me go ahead and get here to my first point about where I think it went wrong. I think the PvP started out basically alright, or the idea started out basically alright. They thought about what they wanted to do and they did it, and they ran it in beta testing and it was okay. But I think what the game developers really didn't count on was the innovative nature of all the players. Sure, I'm sure they tested it, but I mean, they didn't test it over a long term with all the thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of players that play PvP now. And once you guys got a hold of it and you made your own innovations, what they had in mind changed. It became something different, and they weren't ready for that. I think that some imbalances came out that maybe they didn't foresee. Let me go ahead and walk while I'm talking about this. I think that maybe, as I was saying, some imbalances came out that maybe they didn't see or didn't anticipate happening. And that whenever they went back to try to correct these imbalances, what happened was they ended up just instead of correcting it, they ended up imbalancing it more. It's like the wheel in a car. Whenever it's out of balance and it wobbles a little bit, if you put a weight in the right spot, you'll level it out. But if you put a weight in the wrong spot, you'll make it wobble even more. And I really think that's what happened with PvP as we know it. It started to wobble a little bit, and then they overcorrected or corrected improperly and made it worse. Now, that went on through the first age and into the second age, where the wobble got really bad as far as the players were concerned because of critical and how easy it was to land a critical. I mean, I can't really complain because, well, this is a Storm character and we love critical. But it was at the point where a Storm player especially, could go in and just decimate a team on the first turn. I've done that a number of times. You go in there with the first turn bugs and critical it before the other teams had a chance to shield up or anything, and you're going to wipe them out. I know all of you have seen that more than once. So you had second age, and it had a bad wobble. So there again, whenever they had the chance, they tried to correct it. And instead of making simple grassroots, going back to basics corrections, they tried to correct it by making it more complex. And I think that was the wrong thing to do. PvP is way more complex now than it was in the first age. Way more. There's percentages you got to deal with. Some items have percentages, some items don't. The addition of gems has changed it. And it's now a lot big of a complex critter about to take a bite out of your rear end than it was the nice little putty cat whenever it started out. I also think that another problem with the PvP is not only the additionally complex spells and percentages and whatnot like that, but the commercial aspect of it. KingsIsle has to make their money, That's true, and that's sure. But there's the addition of a lot more gear that further complicated the matter. I mean, there's 100 different sets of gear or pieces of gear that you could potentially use, even at the top level, to make different combinations for a PvP set, for a PvP match. Now, that's all well and good in that it gives variety, but again, with that complexity thing, that's that little complexity thing nipping you in the butt again. They've made it so complex now that it's just flat. It's just flat a glass crystal on the floor. It's broke. Broke. For an example, right now I have, I don't know, about 70% critical, where I had 100% critical. Now, they haven't really, I don't feel they've really changed the stats or the numbers any. What they did was they lowered the scale, or well, and then actually, I mean to say they raised the scale. They lowered the percentages, what like that, and made it so that it's harder to get those same percentages. But they didn't change the base of it, where with actually, the other day, I had a match the other day. It was a good example. I had a 40% critical rating, and I landed a critical on someone who had over 500 block. I mean, I'm not quite sure what their percentage number was, but they had around 500 block. Now, I should have never been able to do that. I mean, just using straight common sense, I should have never, but the way that sliding scale is on the critical block table, it makes that possible, and it breaks stuff. I really think that, and this is where I'm going to get a bunch of people saying, you're stupid, you don't know what the heck you talk about. I really think that to fix PvP, what they need to do is level the playing field. I know that this is really a school-based game, and you're supposed to identify with your school, and you're supposed to use the advantages of your school and all that whatnot. And if it was just that, it would be fine. But with all the percentages and everything else that's been added into it, it really bollockses up the whole system. I think they should level the playing field. Each school should, sure, they should have their school spells. But let's say, just for the sake of, for PvP only even, it doesn't even have to be for PvE. You don't have to go and screw all the spells up for gameplay or any of that. Let's just say for PvP only, theoretically, let's say for PvP only, that we made all of the different rank school spells do the same kind of damage. Let's say that a myth bat does the same as a thunder snake. Okay, sure, they're two different spells. But let's just say that. Let's say we take away all that, the differences in numbers and stuff like that. Just for PvP, again, mind you, not for actual gameplay. And we level the playing field and make all the stuff where each player is starting with the exact same, depending, of course, on what gear that they get. I mean, a level 20 isn't going to have the same gear and powers as a level 100. They're not. But I'm saying level that out, because if you all start... If you're on a battlefield and two soldiers each have a sword, you can't quite tell who's going to win that. But if you go on that same battlefield and you got one guy with a sword and one guy with a machine gun, you're pretty sure who's going to go home off the field. Pretty sure. So I think what they really need to do at the core to fix PvP is to go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Level the playing field. Don't make it more complex, make it simpler. Not only will that take some of the breakage out of it, but it will make it easier for new people who want to play PvP to understand PvP. Okay, I think that's one of the problems they've got right now is they've complexed it to the point where a lot of new players have no clue what they're doing, and they're really just cannon fodder out there. And I know you guys have seen this too. You'll see a guy go out there and for no apparent reason will cast a threat because he thinks it does something. Because he's under the impression that it does something. Or, I can't even think of another example, but essentially that people who are new to PvP it comes down to this. People who are new to PvP have no idea what's going on with the complexity of this, and it's really a lot harder to learn than it would be if it were simplified. So that's where I think we need to go with this. Like I said, I just about bet that once some of you guys watch this video, you're going to tell me I'm stupid and don't know what I'm talking about. But I kind of think that I do. I mean, I am more than willing to take some comments on this and have a discussion about it and whatnot like that. But let's face facts. Maybe I'm wrong about what needs to be fixed here. But the fact is, it's still broken and something needs to be done. That's my idea, is to simplify it. Maybe you have another one. By all means, share that idea. Let's talk about it. Alright guys, that's really what I've got to say about the PvP for now. So I hope that you guys liked this video. That'd be great if you did. And I think until next time, this is Skeleton Mystic reminding you that whatever else you do, always love the game. Peace! Hey, what's up, gamers? It's Skeleton Mystic. I am here today in Willow Haven, and behind me is a monstrous mountain of presents, because I am here to tell you the details for the ring and the new giveaway. Now, I know a lot of you have been waiting all month long for this to happen, and you probably want to know where